that really explains the level of violence and the tragedy of what's taking place here. And I want to know how many women are missing. That's what I want to know.
Hello and welcome to Global TV. Today we're jumping straight to being in the chaos of Yellowstone, the TV show that stole millions of people's adoration only to experience controversies that threatened the show's core. There is drama in this story, starting from Kevin Costner leaving the project and up to Bella Hadid's casting controversy, or writer Taylor Sheridan's decisions. Yao will recount 6 core chapters that doomed Yellowstone and find out what Sheridan has to say after not speaking for months. Let's get started. The Rise of Yellowstone, the show that changed the genre of westerns. Yellowstone started airing in 2018, but right from the time, it was seen as a nice addition to TV series shows. Developed by Taylor Sheridan, the show was about control and obedience and kinship, set against the backdrop of the Old West. On one side of the show was the Dutton family, who own the largest racially zoned ranch in America and are ready and willing to do whatever it takes to protect their land, from developers, Native Americans, or politicians. Kevin Costner, an accomplished Hollywood star in movies such as Dances with Wolves and The Bodyguard, got the role of John Dutton, the family head. Sheridan was simply perfect for the part. From the outside, he was Jeff Costner, and thus he became the face of the series. The success of the show was also credited to Sheridan's elaborate narrative, where captivating camera work complemented a cast full of intriguing and mostly gray characters. The early years of the series provided suspense and drama on every episode. It combined intense missions with such scenes that let the spectator empathize with the film characters. Sheridan managed to tell distinctive human stories while encompassing such matters as oppressions and tensions concerning land and rural life, etc. When Season 4 of Yellowstone started to air, it had become a hit show that naturally garners multiple millions of viewers, as well as prequels 1883 and 1923. But with the growth of its popularity, the pressure upon the creators of the show and its actors increased and thereby paved the way for the future scandals. Kevin Costner's exit. Creative collisions and timetable confusions. John Dutton, played by Kevin Costner, has been the figure of the show Yellowstone, and therefore, his exit from the show was arguably one of the surprise moments ever. Problem arose during the creation of Season 5, and some rumors about the clash between Costner's activities and Yellowstone production. It was later claimed that the fast pace of shooting made Costner difficult to work with for Taylor Sheridan, as he expected to get the actors at his disposal in order to preserve the framework of the show. But problems were not only related to transportation. Sources close to production said Costner was dissatisfied with the series' creative trajectory and perceived his character was being marginalized. This was brought to a climax when Sheridan featured John Dutton as being killed in the first episode of Season 5B. This decision causing a lot of stir and uproar among the fans. Perenni explained many fans were unsatisfied with the seeming randomness of John Dutton dying in this episode, and specifically called out a lack of adequate build-up to the scene. Reddit and X was full of posts about the core complaint over the decision-making. One fan said, "They murdered John Dutton and made it sound like he is some low, insignificant character." This is not the Yellowstone we signed up for. The fans declared war on Sheridan and Costner, the latter for allowing personal and other frictions to affect the show. Infotainment. Essays in the media contended that Costner's scaled-down participation in the later seasons stole the show's soul, in addition to Sheridan's sudden decision to off the character seemed like order rather than drama. However, Sheridan stood his ground, saying that it was the best decision he made to protect the integrity of the show. However, the dispute raised the question on how far artists can compromise and cooperate, conceding their ideas to others within a project such as Yellowstone. Bella Hadid's casting, a misstep that divided fans. But that was not the end of it. Just when folks thought Kevin Costner has dumped Yellowstone, Taylor Sheridan added insult to injury by hiring supermodel Bella Hadid to join the cast. Their affair was an acting chemistry that many viewers saw as shameless, since Hadid was dating Sheridan, whose character Travis claimed to be on the show. Genre-bending though the film was, many of its stylistic quirks could be credited to the director of visuals, and Hadid had no real experience as an actress. popular opinion in the show was that her arrival was terribly out of place, and that her character did not fit into the scheme of the show. The anger that the viewers expressed further rose to the core when her affair with Travis would be focused on one of the last episodes. Social media users felt the pinch, and most of them accused Sheridan of being too greedy to care about the story the show was portraying. One viral comment summed up the sentiment. "I was a fan of Yellowstone, and I did not sit in front of my TV set expecting to see Taylor Sheridan fulfill his cowboy dreams." This show was meant to be about the Dutton family. Some reviewers also expressed concern over a phase where Travis stripped naked, with Beth Dutton portrayed by Kelly Riley. Forrest's scene was described as purposeless, to the of his own aim of turning AMCOM into a platform for Sheriffard's vanity project of Sheridan. As such, Sheridan came up in defense for Hasid, stating that Hadid was used to give a new perspective to the traditional stereotype of cowboys and their way of life. He argued that she was an embodiment of beauty and street smart, as well as privilege and hard work. Nonetheless, the attempt at an explanation simply did not work to temper the outrage and still left many of his fans skeptical. John Dutton's death. This book chronicles a momentous event that tumbled Yellowstone into the deepest abyss of instability. Allow me to start with the fact that John Dutton's death was one of the major plot twists in the show Yellowstone, that accrued for both the viewers and the series as well. Paradently, John was an autocratic head of the Dutton family, and for the first time, the main show's protagonist, whose forceful character, along with the internal and external conflicts, and his close bond with the cattle rancher made him embody the program's message. His ride was all about defiance and compilation, no matter if it was against land developers, rival ranchers, or his own family. His death in the final episode of Season 5B brought a turning point into the show that put fans and critics into a state of dealing with the implications for the series. There was tension surrounding John's death on many levels on and off set, and the events leading to it were anything but calm. Off the record, the increasing clashes of Kevin Costner with the film's technical crew became an influential determinant of creative content. Leaks of scheduling conflicts and discord as to the nature of the character put even more fatigues into the decision-making. For Taylor Sheridan, who is the showrunner, the decision to wrap up John's storyline looked like a historic decision which he thought would be the right action to make to advance the plot. However, when it comes to viewers, the manner of shooting John dead disappointed them, and evidently triggered a shower of outrage and concern over the directions of Yellowstone. As expected, the initial episode of Season 5B attempted John's death with no mercy, therefore leaving fans unprepared. It felt wrong on multiple levels. The only issue was they didn't invest enough time in the changing of the guard. And worse, they did not even bother to give the viewers the necessary emotional conflict that it deserved. Indeed, there is no unfamiliarity associated with Yellowstone, since this series often been recognized as the show where John Dutton deserved better. Not only it was the passing of a character, but the passing of a character that more or less shaped the series and the show's attitude it gave the audience. John's passing also signified some changes of the fate of the Dutton family. Beth, Case, and Jamie were forced to find their own way in patching up their relationships and fight for the future they want to have all on their own without their father's guidance. As such, for fans, this was a little shocking, because although the Hunt family were a dysfunctional family, John was the glue that bonded them together despite their differences. Only his absence resulted in the show's lack of focus, and viewers wondering if it was possible to preserve the show's character without him. Taylor Sheridan later stood out to explain why he had to kill off John Dutton, claiming that it was a natural progression of the show. To which he justified that it was always a show of the gradual weakening and undermining of the Dutton family's dynasty, and John's culmination of a death. But this reason did not help to calm the fans that became very fond of this character. Some claimed that the storytelling was not all that profound, as one expected for an event of such magnitude, expectations that left many disappointed and betrayed. Nonetheless, none can deny that John Dutton's storyline is a permanent fixture in Yellowstone. He was strong in character, was loyal, committed, and never compromised towards the protection of his heritage. By the end of the story, John also controls the actions and decisions of those who survived him, and continues to exert an impact on them even in death. His death may have signified the beginning of the end of those dark days for the franchise, but It's a character that will always be remembered. The Bella Hadid controversy. This work examines how casting decisions split the fans of the Yellowstone series. People tend to say that Deborah was cast in Yellowstone, which was one of the biggest scandals for the show during the release of Season 5B. In the series Yellowstone, John's arrival for the most part surprised fans who are more familiar with Hadid as a top supermodel in fashion. Loyal viewers of the show who had grown used to its close-to-reality plots and the characters' fully developed personalities did not know what to make of this casting. Hadid was signed on to portray the role of Travis's girlfriend, played by Taylor Sheridan, and this in itself gave Hadid a very high-profile role. Never mind that her joining Yellowstone was seen by some as a provocative attempt at rejuvenating a flagging program and derided by others as a wholesale changes to the tone and appeal of the series. This decision left the fans wondering as to whether the show producers had gone overboard in experimenting, or they are just taking the show back to its basics. The fans' reaction was massive and immediate. Many people took to their social media pages expressing their excitement of having Hadid there, while others that were against it said that was simply a stunt. Rather, it was common to see critics feeling that she was too opportunistic for Yellowstone, claiming that Yellowstone has a solid groundwork of various complex characters, and the cast inclusion of a celebrity was a big contradiction to it. Audience and critics also had their say, while some approved of Sheridan's audacity to make risks while others criticized a decision taken for actors at the expense of continuity. Entering Yellowstone theater for Hadid was a task and at the same time a chance. For instance, having little or no experience was expecting her to perform well in a show that expected the best of performances. While some people enjoyed her performance of Travis's girlfriend, others, people complained of lack of depth and the character's poor integration into the rest of the plot. Taylor Sheridan sponsored the decision by arguing about the fact that he likes to take risks and present something new and unusual in the context of the show. He claimed that Hadid was useful for Yellowstone because she gave the characters and viewers a new way to look at the world. However, this explanation could not explain and reduce the controversy, because many fans are still questioning was her existence in the series brings additional benefits. The Bella Hadid controversy highlighted a deeper tension within Yellowstone. How creative a producer can be without upsetting the fans who only want more of the same thing. Altogether, for a show that was being established on the principles of true stories and deep emotions, the decision to invite a celebrity into the show seemed to alter the initial concept of the show to many viewers. However, to some people, it has always been a con due to the fact that was an opportunity to explore the whole possibility of the story and go beyond it. Slowly, the hullabaloo surrounding Bella Hadid's affair turned into a trademark of Yellowstone. It was a timely reminder for any creator who needs to be reminded of the balancing act needed when creating something people will listen to now as well as in the future. Whether it is considered as a mistake or an attempt at innovation, the fact that Hadid would work on Yellowstone will surely be talked about for many years to come. The series finale. What Yellowstone tried to do to tidy up the end of its saga. The conclusion of Yellowstone was probably the most anticipated event in the world of television programs in a long time. People waited year after year for the intense drama, the great characters, and high-stakes conflicts, and after 5 seasons, fans awaited Taylor Sheridan's ending to the Dutton saga. The stakes are rising, and fans expected more that much. Much with full package storytelling adaptation, while giving justice with the many story arcs the show has been presented. The finale must provide a proper send-off to all the loose ends, be it family issues, love affairs, power struggles within the Dutton family, and their fight against the outside enemies. After a storytelling apparatus that had suddenly found itself as a vessel for characters that had raw, heart-rending stories, the onus was on the last episode. Finally, in the last episode, drama, sentiments, and suspense were supported to the maximum to please the audience. This season saw the Dutton family at their most exposed, the personal horror that every member underwent, and the pay for their sins. The last episode attempted to give an end note to the plots which have been central to the show's narrative. Yet at the same time, it left room for open expression. Thus, fans experienced more of triumph and disappointment to wrap up their favorite TV series. Those appreciated some heartfelt scenes, as the restoring of some major character relationships, and especially the state and future of Yellowstone Ranch. Some people, for that reason, reported that finale could not meet the challenges raised by the show, and could not provide adequate answers to questions raised. Of course, the lack of John Dutton was quite noticeable, and fans sobbed because of the Arrowverse's failure to give his character more screen time at the end. It appears that Taylor Sheridan remained consistent with the direction that he intended to take to the series because of Yellowstone. The ending was satisfactory, considering an enormous amount of effort and hardships the Dutton family experienced in the series. Still, for some fans, this approach to narration was an ideological loss of denouement and affective release they had been promised. In the end, the Yellowstone finale was a reflection of the series itself. Controversial, intricate, and it never hesitates to ask questions. It may not have been something people desired, but it was the finality that was left that made Yellowstone one of the most captivating and consequential dramas of its era. And that's it, folks. Today being the day you've indulged me in my fascination. Today being the day I brought you the most fascinating facts and controversies related to Yellowstone. The plot plots, the excitement, and the unpredictability, along with the incredible characters, have really made this series a dent in television history. From John Dutton passing on, Bella Hadid joining the cast, or the mixed emotions fans had over the series finale of Yellowstone viewers, we're presented with a show that will not easily be forgotten. Which of these do you consider as the game changers? What is your opinion about the last episode? Do you agree with our highs and lows, or do you have different feelings about the show in general? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, please make sure to like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more deeper analysis, debates, and everything you need to know about Yellowstone. Do not forget to click the bell icon to receive a notification every time there is news.